We are going to take a deep dive into a fascinating case study that really showcases how AI is starting to make waves even in the small business world.
Sounds intriguing.
It is. It is. What we have is a conversation between, to protect the innocent, let's just call him Client X, who owns a small business, and Tony, who is an AI consultant.
Okay.
And get this guy, Client X, he has been searching for like the perfect AI solution for his business for like over a year.
Wow, a year.
Over a year. Talking to like over 10 different companies.
He must be dedicated or maybe really frustrated with the lack of good options out there for small businesses.
Yeah, I mean, a year. You got to be pretty serious about finding a solution.
Definitely. So what kind of business does Client X run?
We don't get into specifics. Got to keep things anonymous, But reading between the lines, it seems like he's a one-man show, probably drowning in paperwork and, all those little tasks that just eat up your time.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Right. Like we have all this technology that's supposed to make our lives easier.
Exactly. And yet we're still battling the same old printer issues we had in the 90s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Client X, he's basically looking for ways to automate those tasks.
Makes sense.
And that's where Tony comes in with his AI solution. It's called Leania.
Linear, okay.
And he describes it as an MRI scanner for your business.
Oh, that's an interesting analogy. How does that work?
Well, I was wondering the same thing. Like, how do you scan a business? But Tony explains that Leania basically scans your business processes, identifies inefficiencies, and then suggests AI tools that could help you, streamline things.
So it's like it analyzes your workflow and then gives you personalized recommendations.
Exactly. But it's more than just a static list of recommendations, right?
Oh.
Leania, it's like having a personal AI consultant. It's constantly learning, adapting to like the latest tech and coming up with, new solutions as your business changes and grows.
Okay, now that sounds pretty impressive.
It does, right. But let's be real for a second. This all sounds great, but can a small business owner actually afford something like this?
Right, that's a valid question.
Yeah, and Tony, he's very aware of that. He emphasizes the return on investment, the ROI, making sure that the solutions that Leania suggests actually save you time and money.
Yeah.
In fact, he mentions a previous client, who actually saved a good chunk of change after just one scan with Leania.
Wow, that's significant.
Yeah, so it's not just about, flashy tech. It's about tangible results.
I like that. Proof is in the pudding.
Exactly. Now, Client X, like I said, he's a smart guy, right? He doesn't just jump into anything blindly. He brings up some concerns, like the classic fear of, robots taking over jobs.
Ah, the age-old fear.
Right. And he also wants to know about security. Like, how does Leania handle sensitive information?
Especially with all the data breaches and privacy concerns these days, it's definitely a valid question.
Absolutely. And Tony, he addresses these concerns head on. He talks about a people-first philosophy. So the idea isn't to replace humans, but to, empower them. Like take those tedious tasks off their plate so they can focus on more strategic and creative work.
So it's about using AI to enhance our abilities, not make us obsolete.
Exactly. Now, when it comes to security, Tony is very clear about Linear's commitment to, keeping data safe. He says that you never have to input sensitive information directly into Leania. It's more about analyzing your workflow and then suggesting, secure and compliant third-party tools that can actually handle that sensitive data responsibly.
Okay, so it's like having a layer of protection built in.
Exactly. And this is key because, Leania is still in its beta testing phase.
Oh, interesting.
So Client X, if he decides to go with Leania, he'll actually be part of, shaping the future of this technology.
That's pretty cool, being at the forefront of innovation like that.
It is. But for our listeners, we still haven't addressed what kind of AI tools we're talking about, like in practical terms.
Right. What are some concrete examples of AI solutions that Leania might recommend?
Well, let's think about some of the challenges that Client X might be facing. Scheduling appointments, managing his calendar, all those emails.
Yeah, those can be real time suckers.
So Leania might recommend AI-powered scheduling assistants, right? Things that can, integrate with your existing email and calendar and just automate the whole process of booking meetings and sending reminders.
Makes sense. And for email management?
Oh, there are tons of AI tools for that. things that can prioritize emails, filter out the spam, and even generate like intelligent responses. Imagine saving hours every week just on email alone.
Wow, that'd be a game changer for a lot of people.
It would, wouldn't it? And we've only scratched the surface here.
Yeah, there's a whole world of AI solutions out there just waiting to be explored.
Exactly. And we're going to dive deeper into that as we continue this deep dive.
So we've talked about these AI tools, but what were some of the specific things Client X was struggling with? Like what really pushed him to seek out a solution like Linear?
Yeah, he mentions feeling like his workflow was stuck in the 90s. Haha.
Stuck in the 90s. Oh no.
Yeah, like I think it was something about well, I can't get into specifics because of the anonymity thing, but it involved a lot of manual data entry and moving information between different systems. That's kind of tedious stuff.
Oh, I see. So really prime candidates for those AI-powered solutions we were just talking about.
Exactly. Like imagine being able to automate all that, data transfer or having an AI handle your scheduling and reminders.
Right, right. It frees up so much time and mental energy.
For sure. But, I want to go back to Tony's his people first philosophy for a second.
Okay, yeah.
What does that really mean in the context of, AI and business?
Well, to me, it sounds like he's saying that AI should be used to make our lives better, not to replace us altogether.
Yeah, that makes sense. But how do you actually, put that into practice? Can you give an example?
Sure. Think about customer service, for example.
Okay.
Instead of just replacing all human customer service reps with chatbots, you could use AI to like give those reps more information about the customer, to help them provide better service.
Oh, I see. So you're still having that human interaction, but it's enhanced by the AI.
Exactly. It's about making those interactions more efficient and more helpful for everyone involved.
I like that. But what about the people who are worried that, AI is going to take their jobs? Is that a valid concern?
Well, I think it's a complicated issue. It's probably true that AI will automate some jobs, but it's also likely to create new ones.
So it's more about like adapting and learning new skills.
Right. And I think that's where education and training become really important.
Makes sense. Now, let's not forget that Linear is still in beta.
Right.
What does that mean for someone like Client X?
Well, it means that he has a chance to really shape the future of the technology
How so?
by giving feedback, by working with Tony and his team to make sure that Linear actually meets the needs of real businesses.
So it's like being a pioneer, kind of.
In a way, yeah. It's exciting.
It is. But it also raises some questions, right? Like how will Linear itself evolve as AI technology keeps, advancing at such a rapid pace?
Right. I mean, imagine a future where Linear is even more personalized, where it can anticipate your needs before you even, realize you have them.
Wow, that's almost like having a mind-reading AI assistant.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's both intriguing and a little bit scary, I guess.
For sure, for sure. But it does highlight the potential of AI to really change the way we work,
Absolutely. And not just for individuals, but for entire industries. I mean, think about the impact on productivity, on innovation.
It's like we're on the cusp of a whole new era of work.
And the key is to make sure that everyone has access to these tools. Right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't just be a luxury for big corporations.
Right. That's really what this whole deep dive is about, making AI accessible and understandable for everyone.
Exactly.
Now, I want to go back to something Tony said about the importance of ROI.
Okay.
He tells a story about a previous client who actually saw some pretty significant savings after using Linear. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was a client who was having trouble with some specific business process. I think it was costing them a lot of money, and after using Linear, they were able to streamline that process and save a bunch of money.
Right. So it's not just about the cool factor of AI. It's about
Yeah.
actual tangible results.
Right. Proof that it can really make a difference.
Okay. So we've talked about the benefits, but what about the risks? I mean, we touched on job displacement. But are there other ethical things we need to be thinking about?
Yeah, for sure. We need to make sure that these AI systems are fair, that they're not biased.
Right. Right. And transparent. Like we need to be able to understand how they work.
Exactly. And I think it's important to have, open discussions about these issues to involve not just the tech experts, but also, ethicists, policymakers.
Yeah, it's a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
Absolutely.
Now, before we wrap up this part, I want to circle back to something else Tony said about Linear constantly, like scanning the market for new AI tools?
Oh,
Why
right.
is that important?
Well, because the AI world is changing so fast.
Right.
There are new tools and technologies coming out all the time. And for Linear to be truly helpful, it needs to stay on top of all that.
So it's like having like a built-in research team that's always looking for the best solutions for you. Okay, so we've covered a lot in this part, from the challenges that client X was facing
Yeah.
to these bigger ethical and societal questions.
Right. We've talked about the potential benefits of AI, but also, the importance of using it responsibly.
And we've really emphasized the role of humans in and shaping the future of AI.
Exactly. It's not something that's just happening to us. We have a say in how it develops.
All right, so we've really dug into Tony and his AI solution Linear, but let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
But what really struck you about this whole conversation between client X and Tony?
I was really impressed by how open they both were to learning from each other.
Yeah,
Client X, even though he was a little hesitant about AI at first, he was genuinely curious about how it could help his business.
yeah.
And Tony, he did a great job of explaining things in a way that was, clear and understandable.
Right. It wasn't just like a sales pitch or anything.
Exactly, exactly. It felt like a genuine conversation.
And I think that's so important, when we're talking about something as new and sometimes as scary as AI.
Yeah, for sure. We need more of those open and honest conversations.
Absolutely. So we've talked about, you know, the potential benefits of AI, but how do we make sure that it's used ethically?
Right, right. That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think transparency is key.
Okay.
We need to be able to understand how these AI systems are being built and how they're making decisions.
Yeah.
And we need to be really careful about potential biases.
Right. Right. Making sure that these systems are fair for everyone.
Exactly. And ultimately I think it comes down to putting people first.
Yeah.
Using AI to improve our lives, not to replace us.
And I think tools like Linear could really help with that.
I agree. By making AI more accessible to everyone, not just big companies with tons of resources.
So to wrap things up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this whole conversation?
Well, I think the main takeaway is that AI is no longer something that's way off in the future.
Yeah.
It's here now.
Yeah.
And it's already having a real impact on businesses of all sizes.
Right.
And it has the potential to really change our lives for the better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we need to be thoughtful about how we use it.
Absolutely. So to our listeners, don't be afraid to explore the world of AI.
Yeah.
Ask questions.
Be curious.
Be curious.
Yeah.
Because the future is being shaped right now.
Yeah.
And we all have a role to play in it.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.